Good morning, everyone. Needless to say, cancer remains a huge unmet need, killing thousands of people every year. Every one of us here today knows someone fighting cancer. But what you don't know is 90% of these people actually die because of metastasis and progression. So what if we can change the narrative of how we treat cancer? I'm Sarah Mardad, the VP R&D of Celex Oncology Innovations, and today I'm going to walk you how we aim to change the metastatic into a manageable disease. Ion channels have gained a lot of traction as novel targets in oncology, with increasing number of publications. And among these, the voltage-gated sodium channels have been shown to be altered in more than one hallmark in cancer. What we're presenting to you is a target present in more than 16 tumors to date, and here's how it works. From Imperial College London, our founder found that it's the benign tumors at very early stages start accumulating VGST expression, and this will lead eventually to invasion and metastasis. So what we have today is class 1D drug, Celex treatment that will inhibit this cascade, resulting in a benign localized tumor. What we're presenting is a breakthrough asset, the first oncology VGST inhibitor that shows prolonged survival in human data. We have a robust business model with strong recurrent sales with an oral chronic pill. So as opposed to the hit and run of most other treatments, we have a continuous and increasing customer base. We have a strong target validation across multiple models. And at the moment, we have 2 drugs with full safety package and ready for phase 2A/B. Among the panel of 16 tumors, and backed by a panel of experts and clinicians, we have selected 3 indications to go forward. These are the breast, castration-resistant prostate cancer, and non-small cell lung cancer, with high unmet need and a large market of $56 billion. So how does our drug work? This is one of 12 animal studies in breast cancer, and it shows progression of metastasis in mice models. Now, inhibition of the gene of the VGST alone can abrogate totally the metastasis to the lungs, showing the compelling effect of this gene. Therapeutic treatment with a class 1D as a proof of concept renalism significantly decreased the metastasis. This data is in alignment with human data. So Celex is privileged by the ability to leverage the real-world data. We have a cohort of 165 patients taking a class 1D. And among these, it was shown that there is 60% reduction in the risk of death in patients who took the drug over 10 years. More importantly, even patients that started the drug after 4 years of diagnosis with cancer still benefited with a 40% reduction in the risk of death. This is one of 20 additional studies that we have today. We are backed by a very strong patent portfolio, giving us protection until 2040. And we have a large portfolio, but we're currently fundraising for Celex SO1 and SO2, the small molecule inhibitors. As to where we are today, we have finalized our preclinical in vitro in vivo. We have a full PK/PD package, and the FDA confirmed this and advised us to apply for breakthrough designation. As in terms of what's next, right now we're raising capital of $50 million to open an IND with a view to conduct phase 2A trials. As to how our drug is positioned, we're positioned to take over the tyrosine kinase inhibitor market, which is currently estimated at $57 billion. So as opposed to the TKA and most drugs, our drugs do not exert selection pressure on the tumor. And it's this selection pressure that normally results in resistance and relapse of the tumor. We are led by seasoned entrepreneurs and pioneers in the field who have expertise in pharma and have successfully exited many companies like this before. We're also backed up by experienced advisors, KOLs, and industry experts in the field. So as a wrap-up, we're presenting to you a de-risk opportunity with a high revenue and a short time to market. And we're inviting you all to join us in our journey as we embark to transform a metastatic tumor into a manageable one. Thank you.
May I ask a question? It's more a curiosity more than a question, because I understand this target, it's already expressed in 16 tumor type, and you choose 3. I'm more worried about what's the physiological role of this target, and while it's mediating, sodium influx here, and what's the safety concern? I have some safety concern, like if this is expressed also in other cell, and you're envisioning a treatment that is likely a chronic one. So what could be the effect there?
Thank you for your question. So indeed, VGSCs are present in many organs, and they have the physiology function of usually controlling the sodium. However, what we discovered is that what we're dealing with is not the VGSC. It's a neonatal splice variant of the VGSC that is only present in tumor tissues. So we have data that shows the lack of the neonatal in the healthy tissue and in the normal tissue, and the presence of this data only in the tumor tissues. So normally in our tissues, we have the adult form, not the neonatal form. And in every tumor that we looked at, we were able to find the neonatal splice variant in these tumors. So this is what we're targeting. And the drug that we have, we're aiming for a chronic treatment, as we mentioned, because we've seen that it can be given chronically, and we've seen that it can actually delay the progression of the tumor. So in early stages, before the tumor progressed, we hope that we'd be able to prevent the progression. And in late stages, we'd hope that we'd be able to delay this progression. I hope I answered the question.
May I just add one thing here, Antonio, because your question is relevant. We are only addressing an aberrant function of these voltage-gated sodium channels. We are leaving the normal physiological function of the voltage-gated sodium channels untouched, because if otherwise it would be toxic and you would die. So we are only addressing an aberrant function.
Okay, thank you.
And therefore it's safe. Okay. Fabricio?
So my question was already partially addressed, so I will change topic. And since this is a very, generally speaking, a very crowded space, are you considering to run a payer study or to have a more thorough evaluation of the access and pricing strategy you have to put in place?
Yeah, no, that's a very good topic. Absolutely, we need to do a payer acceptance study at a later point in time, but right now it's too early to do that. Right, what we are raising capital for is to conduct our phase 2A clinical trial. I think the payer acceptance has to come a little bit later. However, early discussions with the industry indicates that the pricing and the positioning that we have is accepted and is correct. But an acceptance study will need to be done. Clearly, yes. Christian?
Christian?
Thank you. Can you speak a little bit about the competitive landscape that you're entering in with this asset?
I mean, the whole oncology field is, of course, very competitive. I think what we have is a quite unique value proposition where we see that we do not have the issue of drug resistance, which is a very common thing in this whole area. And that's why we think that we have a very interesting competitive edge. What's also more so is it seems like this has a very broad applicability, and that allows us to go in and address some specific areas where there is less competition and a high unmet need. It can, for example, be castration-resistant prostate cancer. It can be certain types of breast and lung cancer where there are no treatments today. And more importantly, we know that our drug is available in the brain, and we have indications that we can actually treat brain mets, which is another very interesting area with a high unmet need and a low competition. So we are seeking out those areas where we are able to gain a niche and get into the market. That being said, we do not plan to take the product to the market ourselves. We plan to out-license and go in partnership with one of the large companies after our phase 2, either 2A or 2B trial.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Tukrul?
Right. I would like to ask you a question about the clinical development plan and the financing. So as far as I understood, you are raising $15 million and you're planning to pursue across 3 different indications. So how are you going to further select and then plan the clinical development? Is it going to be a combo trial with say like the checkpoint inhibitors, or you're anticipating standalone efficacy? Could you hear me?
Yeah, I think we're going to show both monotherapy and in our phase 2A clinical trial, and And that's a key for us, because it's very important that you show efficacy as a standalone. So that's in our plans. We have a full clinical plan. I'm happy to share it with you, but I think time is up. So I think we'll be cut off by our moderators now, unless they allow us to go on a little bit further. I don't know, Nadia.
We indeed need to wrap up. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Tugrul. I would really love to answer that question for you, because it's a great answer, and we agree monotherapy is very important.
Thanks.